at 1871 in Chicago with the I Am Black in Tech and Power Moves event, doing our 2Techies show. So we had some special guests that were here, so we're trying to make sure we can get as many people as we can on camera. So Alex, the first question is for you. So when did you fall in love with tech?
I first fell in love with tech my junior year of high school.
Okay.
So I always loved entrepreneurship, but I really fell in love with technology. I started looking up, Facebook, MySpace was still kind of high at that time.
All right.
And a few other websites, and as I looked more into it and kind of the business side of it, I realized that this was kind of like the startup and technology and how they were built. And I just fell in love with like how much impact technology could have on things and how fast it could scale.
Okay. So I guess the main thing would be then, what exactly do you do in technology? Like when it comes down to your actual craft, in tech and innovation, what exactly do you do? Tell us about your company.
Yeah, so my company is Workman.
Okay.
And Workman is an online platform for construction contractors to manage their workflow.
Okay.
So for example, if you're a roofing contractor, you can do your invoices, your estimates, and your product material forms all online. And I'm the co-founder and CEO of that company.
Oddly enough, we had a platform opportunity like that about 4 or 5 years ago that was bought to us because of all the construction going on in South Florida.
Really?
Yeah, it could have been used down there.
Oh man, I couldn't.
Wait, still
It's
there.
still there. We'll be up there next week, so we'll see what happens.
So as part as a more so, I guess, innovative part, what do you think is innovative about what you built with Workman?
Yeah, I think the most innovative part is, for one, you can literally run your business online.
Okay.
Which in some industries that's not new, in some it is. With construction specifically, a lot of it is still kind of old school. A lot of people are still playing catch up, specifically like the single mom and pop shops, the small business owners. A lot of them still do their paperwork sort of by hand. A lot of them still use paper and pen, who's kind of our biggest competitor.
Right.
So that's probably the most innovative part. The second most innovative part that we're working on is the fact that you can now do sort of your product material forms for supplies online. So if you got to order, let's say shingles, bundles, just for example, in roofing,
Okay.
you can do that through our platform and have that delivered to your job site.
So did that require you to work like mass suppliers? Like, is that how are you brokering these deals, or how did you get the suppliers that are actually bringing these products to them on board?
Yeah, so we have a few different partners in Minnesota that we work with specifically that, I grew up in this space, so I knew a few people, so kind of just, the old traditional ways you call in, you place an order, or you can fill out a form and fax it in. People still use fax, and they get that, so now through our platform, we just kind of like an API, we send that in, they get it, and then the shipment is ready to go either for pickup or drop off.
Okay, that's pretty advanced. All right, so a little bit of a lighter question. What's your favorite craft beer? What's your favorite craft cocktail?
Man, craft cocktail, that's a hard one. I would say for cocktail, man, I like it simple. I'm a big Remy and cranberry.
Okay.
I like Remy and cranberry. But for beer, well, yours hasn't came out yet, so that's not my favorite yet. But I would probably have to go with Surly, Todd the Axeman. So I don't know if you're familiar with Surly.
Surly, we'll have to check it out.
Oh, you never been there?
No.
Man, next time you're in Minneapolis, let me know. It's a good beer.
Okay.
Yeah, Todd the Axeman from Surly.
Sounds like a road trip to get some beer. That's what that sounds like.
That's what it sounds like.
That sounds like. And do some business. So if you think about A-Rod, you being A-Rod, if your business life was based off of a TV show series or a movie, what would best describe your business life? What would be the best two? One of those things. It could be either a TV show or a movie.
TV show or a movie? Man. I think you got me stumbled there. TV life or a movie? There's a movie that comes to mind. I just can't think of it. What's it called?
Give me the description of what are we looking at?
It's some superhero movie. This dude is always struggling, tries to work his way up, and then he kind of just makes it and things start going better. He's always striving for more.
That reminds me of the initial concept of Iron Man because he was accomplishing a lot. Iron Man had to go through a lot and he was very tech.
Man, I guess
Plus he was like an alcoholic too. In real life.
that sounds like you. I guess I'm Iron Man and shit. No, I think Iron Man would be one. I guess if we had to say one close, but I wouldn't say I'm as where Iron Man is now yet. I feel like I'm on the right path. That's the only way.
So you're like Tony Stark's trying to become Iron Man?
Yeah, like Tony Stark trying to become Iron Man.
You're not wrong being Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He ended up being a billionaire, so
he
it
did
kind of worked out.
Hopefully it'll work out for me too.
All right. So what are like one of your biggest challenges or struggles that you're currently dealing with your business development?
I would say easily, not easy, but like the biggest struggle is definitely hiring and recruiting. I would say that's always an issue because talk is kind of cheap and it's really easy to get people excited behind the mission, but then when they realize like how hard it is to really be in the business, like through the ups and downs,
Okay.
people really crack easily. So the hardest thing is really trying to find out who are the people who are going to go, through hell and back with you, and who's.
So you're talking about the hiring and recruitment working for your actual company,
Yeah,
not
it's
even
actual
the
company.
clients.
Not even the client, I'm talking about the company.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
That's actually not a problem most people have, and most people are searching for the contracts and the clients.
Yeah. I mean,
You got the contracts and the clients coming, you just need the actual
We're-
business acumen for people behind you to support your company and actually work.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. Like we're still in heavy user acquisition, but I think a lot of that kind of takes care of itself. It's such a big pain point where
Right.
as long as we get the product right and we have the right marketing, we usually can get the right customers.
Okay.
Even though we're early stage, but it's always like the team, right? Like I think you heard this phrase, like your idea can change a lot and your product can change, but like you got to have the right team. And
Right.
You really got to build the right product.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That really makes sense. So I guess on a more technical side, just tell us more about your journey and your career. I mean, you told us you were into the construction field, so kind of made it, but like, what actually shifted you towards seeing that this was a valuable solution for a problem that you saw?
Yeah, so not to like ramble too much, but so when I first found out with technology, because I was in the construction space, because my dad was a small construction company,
Okay.
I always knew that one day I would kind of infuse it to and work on something, but I didn't know what at the time. So senior year of high school and going into college, I always did a few side projects, and usually something around construction. Like I remember I tried doing a few like on-demand apps and a few other things. But they were all kinds of projects. Some of them had decent success, none of them really had any true traction. And then with this one, I started seeing more of a pain point that I had experienced when I had been helping with my father. And then, my father still uses the traditional pen and paper for most of running his business. And a lot of like his construction friends, or like some family who is in the construction space as well. And just, started doing like some side projects on that, getting some traction, some validation. That's when I kind of realized, hey, this is probably something we should go after, and we could probably get.
So you were truthfully solving a problem for your father, and then you just realized it was a bigger issue, and
Correct.
then it just kept progressing.
Correct.
But you're actually pretty young, because you're talking about MySpace and Facebook when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Most of us that are filming, that actually didn't happen until we were into our latter years of college. So how old are you?
I'm 22.
That's dope.
Yeah.
22 years old, and you're that
22.
far along. You got a great journey to go, man. That's dope.
Hopefully, man, hopefully.
Nah, be proud of yourself.
Every
Most
day.
people at 22 have no idea what they want to do with their life, let alone have a product that's actually valuable to an industry that's actually very needed.
Absolutely.
So I guess that kind of helps to segue into the other part that we have. And we've seen each other at a lot of events. I met you last year, so we've been kind of keeping in contact. Some of the buzzwords that used to be around last year that were real heavy, that's kind of dying this year, diversity and inclusion. Regardless of what we may think about it or know about it. I guess my question would be, when you hear diversity and inclusion now, like just hearing me say that word, what's your initial gut response? How do you feel about it? Like, be honest.
I don't think I have any like response to it. 'Cause I look at it just as a buzzword, right? Like even though some people say it's dying out now, it's still like the hot topic these days. Everybody's talking about it. Every company now all of a sudden cares about diversity and inclusion. They're doing all these initiatives, company pledges to try and fix it, but I mean, not much has been done yet to
Right.
really fix that issue. There's definitely a lot of organizations and individuals who are doing real meaningful work and making an impact, but a lot of the companies, a lot of the CEOs who are the ones who should be making these decisions, they're still not kind of, stepping up and fixing this issue. They're kind of just, again, it's just a buzzword, so they're just, saying that they care about it because of like the press.
And I think that's one of the things that's becoming kind of hard, because I mean, without saying certain company names, there were multi-million-dollar pledges made, and there were different things that were committed, especially with these larger companies, and we haven't really seen those results, or we don't even have a way to track to see how those results actually have taken place. So I'm trying to figure out, what does that become an actual item? But you're talking about the lack thereof. So if we proceeded past that, and let's say you had the funding, how would this plan for diversity and inclusion look for you? If you actually had that a higher level of power, and we weren't trying to build workmen, and you weren't actually trying to build your own company, and even just yourself, you know, being a male and just going through what you're going through, like, how would the plan look for you if you were trying to improve diversity and inclusion?
Yeah, so I think I can answer this from a few different angles.
Okay.
So one is with work when diversity is important early on, and we do that by making sure we recruit from institutions or, you know, other areas where they are usually untargeted with job ads. And I think that's something that a lot of companies can do also, you know, a lot of companies, everybody's trying to get the best talent from like Stanford, MIT, you name it, and they're all trying to get that top 10%, but everybody's trying to go after them.
But we can't justify that's actually the best talent.
Exactly.
If you only fish in one pond, it doesn't really mean you're catching the biggest fish.
Exactly.
You're just catching the biggest fish out of that pond.
Exactly. People think it's the biggest fish because, you know,
That's all
it's
they know.
Stanford, it's the name of the lake, whatever. And I think people are actually missing out on talent, but, you know, the problem with it is it kind of goes back to like Patty mentioned. People like to hire where they came from or where they're from. So they're going to look at like Stanford, MIT, and get, you know, just the way a lot of tech companies are, there's a lot of white males. When they could be getting just as good talent, if not better, at other schools like HBCUs, you know, even community colleges, a ton of good colleges where you can be getting talent. I think the only way that's going to happen is if the CEO actually makes an initiative and says, hey, we got to go out and get talent from these other schools or these other locations because we obviously aren't competing with the Googles, the Facebooks who have, you know, twice as much money.
And then you think about like one of the panels we just heard in the Power Moves B2B conference, Brian Burkeen doesn't even have a college degree, and he's building one of the best companies out there in facial recognition. So talent isn't even limited to just colleges, especially when it comes to tech. Most of your best tech startups were started by people that dropped out of college. So I'm wondering, why do you automatically change that acumen and think now I can only get my talent from these schools when yourself, you didn't even finish your college degree? So, whole different topic, but is there anything else? I know you said a couple other angles. Is there anything else with that you would address? Because I think your recruitment plan is definitely one of the weaknesses of the industry.
Yeah, and then the recruiting starts. Another big issue is retention, and that's a whole other issue itself.
Yeah.
And culture really is everything at a company, and you know, most people who join these companies, they usually don't feel like they belong.
Right.
Like, you know, to give you a personal example, is 2 tech companies that I used to work at, which I love the experience, I learned a ton. It was always a different experience because going in, they would talk about like what they were doing after work or going here, and it's something, I never heard of that shit. I never heard that movie like growing up. That wasn't what I did.
So I think that goes back to one of the things we talked about in a couple, even though they're focused on the diversity, seems cultural sensitivity, they really haven't focused on the inclusion. Because just, and people are going to hear me say this because I'm trying to pound it into people's head, is one of those things now. Just because you've invited me to the party, you haven't offered to dance with me. You haven't offered me a drink. So yeah, you let me come to the party, but I still don't feel included. So I'm there, but I'm still an outsider.
Absolutely, you said it right. I mean, inclusion is like the important thing. Like diversity, I mean, diversity. What does diversity really mean? I mean,
there's so many. I mean, diversity could be sexual preferences, so that's LGBTQ. It could be gender preferences. So of course, women are being left out, and then you get into minorities. So that's why we have We Are Tech. But my biggest thing is you can't focus on the diversity and not pay attention to the inclusion. Because actually, if you paid attention to the inclusion, you would sense the lack of diversity you have if everything you want to do is more so typically things only done by white males. So if all you want to do is golf, but you don't want to play basketball, you might see the difference. And I mean, that's very stereotypical, but hypothetically, that's just the way you could look at it.
Exactly, just like you said, not to go into this topic any further, like, we have to be really inclusive about everything we do.
Gotcha.
And until we do that, I mean, it's still going to be an issue.
I mean, I love beer, but I still drink whiskey every once in a while.
And I love whiskey, I drink beer here and there.
See, that's inclusion. We were better right? So, the world is yours. You got a year of total access, total funds, total knowledge, anything you want. You got one person that can mentor you for 1 year. Who would that person be?
I'm going to go with Elon Musk.
I haven't heard his name so far in this conversation, but that's a good one.
Yeah, and the reason there's a lot of people I look up to, but the reason I would say Elon Musk is because, I mean, he's trying to solve some real pain points, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he built Tesla, I mean, you know, electric car, that's, you know.
I'm scared he's going to get killed with that whole electric car thing. I mean, you got the electric car, autonomous driving. With the autonomous driving, that's going to kill insurance because you're going to have less and less accidents. It's gonna kill taxi services because
Yeah.
cars will just drive you around.
Exactly.
I'm worried that man might get murdered because he's solving some problems that fix a lot of different. And like FP&L in Florida,
Yeah.
they won't even allow us to get the battery pack at the charger home. We can't be off the grid. It's illegal in the state of Florida to be off the grid. So I'm really fearful that he's gonna get assassinated. He's a little too smart.
I don't think he's human, man, to be honest. I mean,
He is an alien.
how the hell did you start a rocket ship company? I mean, come on, man, like.
And NASA did it,
So, and the reason I said Elon Musk too is you said if I had unlimited funds, resources, all that, I think I would be able to build a business that can do something like that. I mean, I could now too. Correct?
historically and monumental, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess he would change your mind frame. You can't be
Yeah.
around somebody like that and think small.
exactly. Like there's a famous quote I can't remember, but like he started PayPal was his first round of funding to
Right.
then go start SpaceX and Tesla.
PayPal Mafia.
Yeah,
Him and that whole crew.
exactly.
Right.
Right. Like, I mean, there's so many big issues in this world that I think could really be solved.
And he solved a lot with PayPal, being able to
Exactly.
take payments and everything that way.
Exactly. So I have to go with Elon Musk, man.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But another one that I would add in there too, man, would be Tristan Walker. I'm a big fan of his
Okay.
work too.
Tristan Walker. Shout out to Code 2040.
Yeah.
So there's always a soundtrack to life. I think at times in the morning you want to listen to different music, get motivated, the gym, going out, relaxing. But if there was a soundtrack to your life right now, if there was one song or one album to kind of describe the journey you went through in the last 22 years, what would be that album or what would be that song?
Man, it would easily be Eminem's. How's it go that? That spaghetti, wild spaghetti. What was it? That
We're gonna have to look this
is it
up.
lose it? Is it lose it? Lose it? Is it
Lose Yourself?
I think it's lose yourself.
Oh, the track he did for the is that the soundtrack? The song he did for the movie, right?
Yeah, the
8
movie.
Mile?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't spit it right now.
I can't. It's like in my head, but I can't say the word.
I think it is Lose
I
Yourself.
think it's lose yourself.
Okay, so Lose Yourself and Eminem?
Yeah.
So that's like embellishment and just coming one with the product or whatever your talent or your craft is?
Yeah, man. I think it's just like you're always just hustling, right? Like I feel like my whole life has been like.
Give it 100 or don't do
Yeah,
it.
like you just gotta work hard. Like my parents always taught me, like always work for what you want, regardless of like the barriers. My dad always just said like, my dad was always tough on us.
Right.
He's always like, I'm gonna be tough on you, so nobody else can be tough on you, so you can do it right.
Gotcha.
And I feel like my whole life has always just been like work hard.
Biggest support, but also your worst critic. So.
Exactly, and like
Yeah.
I'm never being satisfied. Like I've learned to be happy on this journey and enjoy the journey in life, but always striving for.
I think that's a big thing. I'm happy where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
I can enjoy it, but I always want more. I'm always willing to create and push myself further, and that did come from my father. Never got awarded for what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You only got awarded when you went beyond what was expected of you.
Exactly.
So if your room was clean, he didn't care. Your room should be clean.
Yeah.
I gave you a room. I gave you a bed. I'm
Exactly.
feeding you. The least you should do is have a clean room.
Exactly. Like I'm working. Well,
Yeah.
you should be working.
You don't want to come home to a dirty house.
Exactly.
I'm feeding you. So yeah, I will say my father put that in me, so I understand that part.
Absolutely.
So speaking of our parents, we call this the game. We all talk about it, win the game. And if you walk away from this all, what is the legacy of Alex? What would you want people to remember you by, remember you as? What would be the legacy that you're trying to build and leave?
Yeah, I would say the legacy would be impact and inspiration.
Impact and inspiration.
Impact in terms of like my whole thing is I'm trying to build a multi-billion-dollar company in the Twin Cities as a Latino, right? Specifically in tech, like you don't see that.
Right.
You could go like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. You can name hundreds, if not thousands of them. And then you get into black tech CEOs. You can name very few.
Right.
And then you get into Latino, and I can't name any Latino CEOs that have really made it. Right? I don't feel like we have like the Michael Jordan of tech for Latinos. And my whole mission is kind of to hopefully be that.
Yeah, because you come to a lot of the events that are like more so black focused, but we always say, if you really look at the struggle,
Yeah.
the struggle between black and brown is pretty
Yeah.
much the same. It's
Absolutely.
only certain mind frames that separate that.
Exactly. We're brothers in arms.
Yeah.
We're brothers in arms.
Always.
So yeah, man, I would say I'm really trying to build a company for one to give back to my community. Like my whole goal is to build a $1 billion company and be an investor and actually give back and invest in these companies. Black, brown. Be inclusive. Invest in hustlers. And then, you know, hopefully that will also be an inspiration for others too, to be like, okay, well, if Alex can do it, then so can I.
Nah, Alex, you're 22, man, and you inspired me, so you're well on your way, bro. That's why I look forward to seeing you every time, because
Likewise, bro.
to know as young as you are that you're pushing it, you're going to do it. So just give yourself some time. But you're doing a lot, so I'm very proud of you.
Appreciate it.
But why don't you let the people know how they can reach you on social media? Just tell them your platform so we can get the information out there for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would say the easiest way is definitely follow me on Twitter, and I'm at Head Honcho A-Rod.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram too, Head Honcho A-Rod.
Okay. And the website for Workman?
Yep, and the website for Workman is just www.workman.
Okay.
So it's work and then MAND.com.
Okay. Great. Tradition with our company is we close out with one word. For the final word, it's nothing gonna be said after you say this, but just one word to describe either how you're feeling with this trip to Chicago or just from an interview. One word to close us out.
Energized.